For me to have won 5 world titles, 5 Masters, 4 UKs, and kind of done it in the manner that maybe Jimmy White or Alex Higgins would have done it in, I think that's what people relate to, and people feel like that by playing that type of game I've been able to entertain.
I've got to come out and try and put pressure on him. There's no strategy, you just got to come out and just hope that it's your day.
Hello, the lure of the long Christmas shopping list is strong this time of year, but we hope the lure of live sport will be even more appealing to you. It certainly is for everyone in York's Barbican Centre this afternoon, because it is semi-finals day in the Coral United Kingdom Championship, the second most prestigious event in the snooker calendar. Now, 3 of our 4 semi-finalists have all lifted that trophy at least once in their careers, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is aiming to pay for his Christmas presents for a 5th time using the winner's cheque. Now, this evening it'll be Stephen Maguire taking on Judd Trump, but this afternoon it's Ronnie against the world number 9, Stuart Bingham.
Technical. Ronnie O'Sullivan has one major advantage over his competitors. He plays the game both left and right-handed to an amazing standard. He can get at shots where other players would have awkward cueing or need to use the rest. Nothing unusual about the way he grips the cue, but although it looks relatively firm, it's loose enough not to stifle the finesse he often utilises in his positional play. His feathering has a natural rhythm to it. It reminds me of the action of a top darts player setting up for the throw.
The old parallel cueing theory is torn up by the Rocket. With the butt of the cue relatively high in the air, Ronnie guarantees his smooth stroke is never cramped. Ronnie gets through the ball better than anyone else in the game. That means more action on the cue ball and a greater variety of shots available to him.
Tactical. A break builder of breathtaking ability. He sees shots so quickly that he rarely breaks his stride around the table. This rhythm means he never has time to outthink himself, and in a nutshell, gives his natural ability every chance to take control.
Safety is not the first word that comes to mind when you think of the Rocket, but he is one of the best safety players in the game, and it's always safety with a purpose. Psychological. Much has been made of Ronnie's mental approach to the game. Only he knows what is going on inside, but when he's in the right frame of mind to play, he has a rock-solid temperament.
Perhaps the game comes so easily and naturally to him that it doesn't give him enough of a challenge. As far as weaknesses go, it's not a bad one to have. Well, do you know, whenever Ronnie O'Sullivan's in the room, the crowd, there's an added buzz in the excitement in the room, isn't there?
There is, of course. Even behind the scenes, everybody is really excited. They're really looking forward to him coming out, and they don't know what's going to happen next, and that's a great thing about Ronnie O'Sullivan.
And 2 nights ago, he lit this place up, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, that magnificent 147. We were in the other commentary box, Willie and I, both standing up in there, clapping him, and the noise and the atmosphere, I've never witnessed anything like it. I mean, when he potted the pink and he gave it the fist, he teased the crowd in the frame before, but when he gave it the fist, Willie and I were standing up, we were clapping. It was just magnificent.
And then his last match against Anthony McGill, he had to really dig deep.
He did, yeah. It was put up to him, and that's why I feel we're seeing a different Ronnie O'Sullivan now. I think he's a more complete player. You know, he got a little bit frustrated, but he didn't throw his toys out of pram. He kept focused and he did the job, and he finished off the match in style.
Well, one thing's for certain, I think everybody in this room and the millions who are tuning and watching at home think that Ronnie O'Sullivan is one of the great British sportsmen of all time. But some journalists don't consider sport, or snooker as a sport, to be in the same league as golf or tennis. Let's hear what Ronnie has to say about that.
If I was a footballer or a golfer, I'd be up there with maybe Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Roger Federer, Nadal. You know, I'd be looked upon as that way, but yeah, because it's snooker, they probably don't get spoken about as much.
Well, Stephen Stewart has won in China, his second ranking title this season. How do you think he's been faring this week?
I think his form's been a bit up and down this week. Obviously, he started off with a tough match, then he had a 6-0 win over Ricky Walden, where he was very impressive. I commentated on his match yesterday with Graham Dott, where he struggled a bit, but he battled really well. He showed what a player has become winning when you're not playing at your best. Yeah,
and he won another 6-5 against Joel Walker, so he's had 2 very close matches. But that was a shock. Ricky Walden, the in-form player, to beat him 6-1 was fantastic.
Very, very, very impressive, but he's obviously it's another level he's got to get to today, playing Ronnie O'Sullivan, the man in form.
He's beaten him a couple of times here in the UK Championship. We're certainly looking forward to this, and we're going to get the players out, and we'll hand you over to our MC, Rob Walker.
Thanks, Dennis. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 1 table, 4 players. Welcome to semi-final Saturday here at the Barbican. And we start with this all-Essex showdown for a place in the final of the Coral UK Snooker Championship. Sit back, relax and enjoy. This could be quite a ride. Please welcome a player who has absolutely thrived in the last 3 seasons. Winning the Aussie Open in 2011 was the catalyst for a great run of form. He staged a brilliant comeback against Graham Dott yesterday. So here he is, after 19 years as a pro, bidding for his first appearance in a UK Championship final. The reigning Shanghai Masters champion. He's the ball run. He's Stuart Bingham. And his opponent, a player whose 8 minutes of magic on Thursday night reminded us all just what a rare and special talent he is. 21 years after he first lifted this title, he's on the verge of a 5th appearance in a UK Championship final. Here comes the 5-time champion of the world. Blink and you'll miss him. The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, some fascinating stuff in an interview that we'll hear more of in the interval of this match. Ronnie's still nursing a fractured ankle here in York, but it hasn't held him back too much so far. And remember, Stuart Bingham knocked out Ronnie last year en route to getting to the semi-final stage. So this could be a great match in prospect. Fighting fit in the commentary box. We've got Stephen and Dennis. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Hazel. There you see the Barbican with
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
With just the one table now. No distractions from the other table. And not the best break-off shots from Ronnie, although there's a red onto the right corner. It looks as if he would cannon into the red behind the black, so can't really just take that as a shot to nothing, because if he takes it on, he'll have to get it. It's the sort of shot that the players practice. He knew he was going to cannon that red. Is he on the pink? It's a very good pot, but if he's on the pink, that's a bonus. Well, Stephen, his nickname is Stuart Ball Run Bingham. I used to think it was because of the amount of balls he potted, but apparently as he gets a good run of the balls. Well, he certainly pulled a great pot out and had a nice little run of the ball there to finish on the pink.
Yeah, it was a bonus, obviously. He was sort of forced into the long pot. Didn't know where the cue was going to end up. This is now turned into a decent opportunity to score in his first frame, and we say it all the time, but it's true. When you're playing against Ronnie, you've got to put him on the back foot. If Stuart's going to win today, he's got to make the most of all these opportunities. He's more than capable.
$14. $15.
Perfect angle in the pink, can do what he wants here, could even go into the main bunch. He's looking at the cannon, the two reds next to the black. If he cans the left one of those, he's obviously going to be another one to the right corner. Yeah, I think this is the right shot. Play it more positively. No problem as the pink's now going to go back in its own spot.
$21.
Always let that one run away.
22.
That's because he was hampered there and he just hit it a little harder than he intended. So that's a very good chance he's let slip. But those three reds, he's having to bridge over them. And now it's just in behind the green. Now that white has just drifted a little bit.
Just turn the earpieces down a little bit, please. We can hear it at the table. Thank you.
Stuart just looking there. It probably was running along where the line of the slate is, and it just seemed to drift a little bit. Watch the... Yeah, you can see that white move slightly there. You can tell where Ronnie's put the cue ball. He was hoping to, well, I suppose he tried to pot it, but he was trying to wobble it in the jaws of the pocket and play a good safety. But what a pot.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Yeah, so sure he'll be probably muttering things under his breath there, because he should have had Ronnie tight behind that green, but for that roll along the slate. And then Ronnie pots that red. Yeah, looks a bit rusty already, Ronnie, didn't he?
Of course, a new cloth on this table now. I'm not sure which of the tables. Well, it'll be the number 1 table that's been there all along, but a new cloth on it. Got to be precise with this one. And that's very good.
Okay, thanks. Foul.
Yeah, he declared a
Bingham
foul
four.
on himself there, did Ronnie. Now, whether he just double hit it, I'm not sure, but he immediately, let's have a look here. Just caught it again with the tip, so immediately declared it to Paul Collier. Hasn't really been pushed in this year's UK Championship until he came up again, the young Glaswegian Anthony McGill, who was close to knocking the favourite out. Very impressed with Anthony's game against Ronnie, and probably just a lack of experience. A couple of easy missed balls, an easy yellow and an easy green. Otherwise, you know, he could have got himself into the semi-final. So we'll be seeing a lot more of Anthony. A terrific cueist. I really enjoyed watching him play against Ronnie. But this man here you're looking at, okay, Ronnie's well ahead in the head-to-heads. He's beaten Stewart 9 times out of 11, but Stewart has beaten him a couple of times and in the UK Championship. So plenty of experience from Stewart. Black's in the way of the safety route down the right side of the table, and no easy escape down the other side, so that was a pretty good shot from Stewart. Looks as if he's just going to try and leave the white on this cushion behind the black spot. That's made things a little awkward with the red going up the other end of the table. Might just be able to get through to the potting angle of this one. Terrific shot.
1.
Can't cue it any better than that. It would only just go. So he looks in fine form here, Stewart.
Yeah, I think if you can't get yourself up for occasions like this, then you don't belong in the top rankings of the game. Stewart's now been established as a top player in 16 for a few years now, so these are the occasions that you expect to do well in.
7.
Already looks to be striking the ball so much better than he did in yesterday's match against Graham Dott. And, he managed to battle through that match, not at his best. Still made 2 centuries. It didn't strike the ball the way he's striking it so far today.
Yeah, Graham was a little unlucky, wasn't he? He got a terrible kick. I think he had a chance to go into a 5-1 lead. And after that, Stewart started playing much better and, as you say, had 2 centuries. So there's a bit of form there, that's for sure.
He's played for the plant here to the left centre.
14.
And the angle he's hitting the first red, he'll just be screwing back for the black.
It's amazing the number of times you play a plant, for some reason you never get the white exactly where you want, and there he concentrated so hard on the plant he just over-screwed it slightly, so he needs one good shot here just to recover position. And he couldn't have played it any better. He's got a cannon on the red there, and it's left 3 reds available to him.
22.
So very impressive from Stuart Bingham at the start of this match.
23.
Yeah, I think most people would be expecting to see tomorrow a Trump-O'Sullivan final. But in Bingham and Maguire, 2 players who should not be underestimated at any stage.
31.
I wouldn't think there'd be a great deal of tactical play in this match because they're both very attacking players.
36.
I mean, Stuart, when he gets going, he's a very fluent break builder. Very early days, the opening frame, but the pot successful. And nobody's missed a ball yet. The frame well and truly safe now.
42. .43. 46. 47.
Not enough on the table to make a century break, but he'll try and pot the lot here just to really make a statement and stamp his authority
55.
in this first frame and give Ronnie something to think about.
Yeah, this is exactly what he would be hoping for when he was in the dressing room before the match started.
60.
Of course, the semi-final is still
61.
the best of 11, so it's very important to get off to a good start, and that's exactly what he's done here. That spoiled the clearance, unless he can double the yellow.
66.
Just the start that Stuart Bingham was looking for. He made a lovely 66 break, and that gives him the opening frame, and he leads 1-0.
Couldn't have planned it better himself. Stuart Bingham knows he's going to have to be on it right from the start here, because if he's to punish Ronnie the way others haven't so far this week, that could be, well, it could be the key to unlocking this match.
Absolutely. Very similar circumstances yesterday when Anthony McGill got off to a good start, but Ronnie was up against a different proposition today. Someone who has already beaten him, knocked him out of this tournament last year, who's someone who has the confidence to go out and perform, you know, in the big arena against the big player and against the big favourite. And Stuart Bingham won't be fazed by it at all. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Ronnie O'Sullivan in this game, but Ronnie O'Sullivan has to produce his best to beat Stuart Bingham today. There's no doubt about that.
And the reason why that is important is because when he gets his chance, he won't panic at getting the chance. If you're a new player and you're into uncharted territory, or you think, oh, I'm on the brink of beating Ronnie O'Sullivan, you're not in the right frame of mind. You need the confidence, as Ken says, to actually, when you get the chance, know that you can take it and have been there a few times before.
And he's a confidence player. We spoke to him yesterday after his victory in the quarter-final. He came in here, he won the Shanghai Masters earlier this season, bought a watch, and every time he looks at it, he reminds himself, I am a two-time major champion in this sport.
So he's been spending a bit of his winnings there on a new watch, and why not?
Complete mishit there from Ronnie. He's hit it that badly. I'm not even sure what he was playing. I think he's just playing it full in the face to knock the red back up to baulk, bring the cue ball down to this cushion. He has left a pot to the right corner, but there's no colour coming from it, so Stuart won't take it on.
As I mentioned, it's a new cloth on this table, but Stuart certainly got the pace of it. Almost froze that cue ball on the cushion. Oh, that's another careless one, but let's have a look. Does that one next to the black go? Got the one to the right of the blue that'll pot up past the yellow, but I think this one near the black does pot. I've got to be a little bit careful here, trying to get onto the black. He may be able to just screw out past it. If he has to play a little cannon, he's just got to give it a little bit of care and attention here. He's played the cannon perfectly.
One.
So easy to catch that red near the cushion, but he judged that to perfection.
Eight. Nine. $16.
Poor shot that time. Needed to be higher on this red to be able to play for the black. So whenever the cue ball's cannon into another red, position's not as straightforward. May have to take the red into the right centre.
Yep, that's the one that he favours. Much easier to guarantee position. Needs to pull up. That, well, he's got
17.
the pink if he's too far for the black, but look at this shot he played. Superb. Terrific shot, because if he had gone a little bit too far for the black, he had the pink, so he's certainly fully focused at the start of this match, that's for sure. And I just detect quite
25.
a bit of determination in Stuart Bingham's face as well, so he's up for this.
Yeah, so fully focused, looks composed, but that's the least you would expect from someone obviously ranked number 9 in the world and already a tournament winner, so just playing as he should be.
On the previous shot when he played up for the black in and out of the baulk area, this is his 5th black. I wonder has he got half of Ronnie's £44,000 in mind. That's the shot. I mean, he could easily have played for any other colour, but he's come all the way up for the black. And Ronnie, with making that magnificent maximum break, has guaranteed himself £44,000. But if another player was to achieve that, they would share it. Well, it's a bit close to
40.
the red, but he's got a slight angle to get out onto the black. So let's see how this table's playing along this cushion here. Well, it's close. It's on the cushion, so that helps. Yeah, it clings to the cushion. If you hit the ball in the cushion at the same time, a key shot coming up. I'll just show you it clinging along the cushion there, but if he can open the reds here and not push one safe. Played it delicately, but has it finish a little awkward for him.
48.
Yeah, he was always going to have a choice of a couple of reds to the right corner, but he'd prefer, if he's going to go for a black, obviously the one next to the pink's the one to play, but he's going to make sure the frame, the way the reds are placed, he takes a risk and misses the red. He'd fancy Ronnie clearing up.
Well, we now know what he's got in mind, 41. Could quite easily have played for the pink or blue there, but he's got one thing on his mind at the moment, and that's all blacks. And would you believe it?
Stuart Bingham 49.
Well, the only consolation is the black's gone safe. Big smiles around. He was after a maximum there.
Yeah, I think if he was thinking about maximums this early, I think it was a bit, I don't know, a bit risky. This is a semi-final of the UK Championship. Get the frame one first.
Now, Ronnie's going to have to do this with just pinks and blues, because the black, as I say, went safe.
Seven. 8.
He's having to be very precise each time because of where the
14.
pink is situated.
$15.
triangle of reds are all covering each other, so he'll have to move them. And might, well, there's where he'd like to leave the cue ball to pot the pink and bring those reds into play. I think that would be slightly easier than going up for the blue and relying on a cannon onto the pink and reds.
.22.
That looks about perfect, Stephen.
Yeah, that was a good positional shot. That wasn't. So I had to break.
28. Touching ball.
Well, the touching ball helps the situation somewhat. He's got to be careful. He's got to cover this red that's near the right corner. So twice across and behind the yellow near the cushion.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 28.
Perfectly played. Didn't even have to go up the other end of the table. He knew exactly where he wanted that cue ball to cover the red, and he played it beautifully. Same problem for Stewart. If he comes down the table, he's got to get it right, otherwise he'll leave a pot on. Still got a 21-point advantage. So he knows if he comes off that red, just this side of the pink, the two together, the left-hand one, if he plays off that, he's got to get this absolutely spot on. Otherwise he'll leave that one that's near the right corner. Wow, didn't even think that would go. Didn't even realize that would pot, but he'd got a pretty good cue ball anyway. It'll be better in a couple of seconds time, tucked in behind the yellow. Well, he's got an angle on the yellow, so it's all going nicely for Stewart. He had, we'll show you this pot again. I mean, that, what a shot that is. And to have a slight angle on the yellow, well, was even better.
Four.
Well, he tried to get all blacks at the start of this frame. Missed the black off the spot, but I bet he was expecting Ronnie to pot a few more, but going to be 2-0 very shortly.
Ten. $11.
Just the pink needed.
$17. 18.
Doesn't matter about missing the pink.
Stuart Bingham,
yeah,
18.
Ronnie puts his cue on the table. He concedes the frame. And Stuart Bingham, well, what a start for the very likeable player. And he now leads 2-0.
And that is a great start for Stuart Bingham. Assessment of the way he settled down so quickly in this match, Steve?
Well, he's enjoying it. There'll be a lot of people in the room won't like him at the moment, especially the Ronnie fans. But yeah, what we have in Stuart Bingham is a very efficient snooker machine these days. But he's a hard practicer. He's never fallen out of love with the game. And through many years that we thought, well, he was going really nowhere in the game, somewhere from somehow, a bit like Mark Davis, has matured in his later years. And the thought that in 2 years' time he's going to be in the World Seniors is a worry. It's just a big worry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's only 1 year younger than Ronnie, and yet it's only in the last 3 years that he seems to have, well, turned his career around. And I wonder how much that has got to do with the Barry Hearn revolution in snooker and the fact that there's so many more playing opportunities have become available to him and others.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it has. You know, and he plays in most of them. You know, he just loves playing. But I think it's, you know, he's been one of those late developers in life as regards, like, you know, where Ronnie was, he burst onto the scene very young. Stuart has won most of his tournaments in the last 3 or 4 years. And without a shadow of a doubt, the more opportunities, playing against the bigger players, winning against those in the PTCs, and the confidence that has given him. And of course, he puts a lot down to Steve Feeney as well as coach, who's done lots of work behind the scenes with him as well and helped him in a different part of his game. And he's finding the rewards now, and as Steve said, he's a great practicer, he loves the game, and he's a tough man to beat now.
Well, he's certainly up against it today. By the way, Stuart has won 7 titles in the last 3 years. Only one big one here was the Premier League in this country. He's tended to be a great traveller, but he's been kind of knocking on the door in the big UK-based events, and he seems very relaxed out there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he certainly does, Hazel. He was smiling at a friend in the audience there, I think. I think it all started going right for Stuart Bingham in the 2011 Australian Masters. I think Mark Allen did him a favour, had a little criticised of Stuart. I think he said he didn't think he had any bottle, and he went on and beat Mark Allen. And I think since that match, he's just got stronger and stronger. So Mark, one of the top players in the game now, so he probably helped Stuart's career. The crowd's starting to get excited now. They want Ronnie to get going in this match because he's done very little wrong, I suppose. It was just the positional shot. Well, he's still at 100% pot success rate, so it was just the position when he cannoned into the reds in the previous frame that didn't work out for him.
Well, he's overhit that by a long way. Sure, he was playing for the black to the right corner, or even a choice of pink to the right centre, so tougher blue. Maybe he's just under a little bit of pressure. He was 2-0 down yesterday, Dennis, but obviously 2-0 down to someone like Bingham, who's beaten him before in this stage, and a tournament winner is a bit different.
Well, he didn't even get that blue in the jaws of the pocket, so worrying times for Ronnie. And is there a plant, you know? There is. Oh, pink must pot. It looks tight, but Stuart's having a look. Well, that is quite tight. If you're right in behind it, you'd be able to pot it, but he's close to the middle pocket, so he doesn't fancy it. Well, that's a shot of a player full of confidence. And he can get on the black this time. He's just coming around to see where he could leave the cue ball, and he's got a little bit of margin for error. Might not play for the black this time. He's got the blue, but if he gets somewhere near that circle, he'd be right on the black.
6.
Well, I've gone very quiet. You can hear a pin drop there. It's all Stuart Bingham at the moment. And that's 13. The crowd there, packed house at the Barbican, the one table. That's what you turn professional for, to play in these sort of situations.
different kind of pressure
14.
starts to build on Stuart Bingham now. He's now got a 2-0 lead. He's seen Ronnie miss 2 or 3. Thinks Ronnie might be under a little bit of pressure. Now you have to, sometimes you put pressure on yourself. I've got to keep on it now. I've got to keep potting balls. Important just to take one shot at a time.
Black's a little awkward. The red to the left of it, preventing it from potting. I suppose the blue back on its spot would help.
21.
I'm just wondering, and Stuart's wondering if he can get on that red that's to the left of the black if he just leaves the white where the blue is. If he's dead straight on the blue, he's got 2 other reds to play on, but if he could remove that one, that's what he'd like to do. And he might just be able to. The one at the back of the pack goes, but if he can get the one to the left of the black,
26.
that'll be even better. That's the one he's playing. Slightly more difficult pot.
27. $34. 35.
Just let that run a little bit further than he intended, but it might work to his advantage because I think he can catch the edge of the pack here with a little screw shot.
Just didn't get a thick enough contact on the pack. So
42.
Lost the cue ball a little bit. I think the red in the open goes to the left corner. Back up for the blue this time.
Stuart Bingham, 42.
He didn't seem to play that a lot of conviction for me. Every other shot he's played so far, most shots have been real positive shots. That was a bit tentative. Ronnie wasn't going for the pot there, really.
And now that he's covered that red, bit of a problem for Stuart, because if he plays off down the left side of the table, he could quite easily leave that. So even though he's snookered, he's going to play the red that's near the corner pocket. I'm just wondering if none of those reds pot, Ronnie might be tempted to take this one up the cushion and get onto the black here. Be a free shot. Yeah, they're all covering each other. That was the reason he attempted that. Stuart can see the one up past the yellow. But, can you see enough of it to send it back up the table? He could. what Stuart was looking at there was if he was to send this red back up the table and left the white near the cushion, he would cover that red to the right of the black. He'd just check to see if there's anything potable into the right middle pocket. So he's weighing up all the options because there's no easy escape back down the table because of this red. You've got to be pretty precise with this. In the end, it looked as if he just tried to pot his way out of trouble there, and he's left a chance for Ronnie. As we just show you the shot again, at that pace, those are so difficult. So what can Ronnie make of this chance?
One.
That was a nice positional shot. Looked very simple, but it's got perfect on the blue.
He'd like to get on the black before the red to the right of the black was removed, because if he got on the black he could just roll it in and leave that red. He's just checking to see if black's available in the corner past the red, but he can leave it to the same pocket as the red if he wants, and that's what he's done.
7.
Beautifully played. It was much easier to play on this red from the black, and that was well worked out, and he's given himself
14.
An excellent opportunity here. Very early days,
15.
but he could do with this frame. Doesn't have to move anything. They're all clearing each other as he pots them.
20. $21.
Not the best angle in the black. Gonna have to force the cue ball onto the next red. And he's judged that to perfection.
28. $29.
Dennis is probably the most impressive part of Ronnie's game, this cue ball control. His positional play just, it is on a different level to everyone else.
Yeah, when he got on that previous red, as you mentioned, he was absolutely perfect
36.
on it.
37.
He may have screwed that a little bit further than he wanted. He didn't want to be playing a cannon, but he had to do, and that's what can happen. It was the shot before, he left the wrong angle on the black. I said he didn't have to move any, but he couldn't screw
44.
back to leave the two reds to the right corner and had to play a cannon. Now that will annoy him because he should have cleared up here. I mean, that is a bit of a lapse in concentration just as he gets himself into the lead.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 44.
See, this was the cannon he played, but he didn't get on the black. He didn't want to be playing that shot. He wanted to leave the reds for the other corner. And I think this is quite a vital frame now in this semi-final, Stephen. If Stuart Bingham was to pinch this when Ronnie looked almost certain to take it, it could be a turning point.
Well, another mishit shot. He's definitely under it a little bit of frustration there, swiping the cue on the table, so still probably thinking about that easy cannon he missed a minute ago that you mentioned, Dennis. And it doesn't matter who you are, you don't want to go 3-0 down in a best of 11.
1.
Yeah, he only did that once yesterday in this match, but he then went on to secure a semi-final place. But one good positional shot here, and he's having the yellow clean, but he's got a good angle here. If he can just play a nice delicate little shot off the side cushion. He's got a couple of ways of getting on that last red, but that seems an easier one. If you can get somewhere near the end of the line, you'd be spot on. That's pretty good. Just gone a little bit further than he intended. So it's all about the cannon on the black.
3.
Yeah, a bit of pressure on this visit for Stuart. He'll have seen Ronnie's frustration. He knows they can really punish him here. These are the points in these big matches you've got to sense the chance to really get on top of your opponent.
Just looking there, if he just plays it plain ball, will he send the black towards the middle pocket? Oh, he's overcut it. A reprieve for Ronnie. Okay, he hasn't got an easy pot here, but that definitely is a reprieve. Stuart had a great chance to go 3-0 in front there. Oh, he needs the black now to come to his rescue, and it hasn't. This will cut. White will be coming back towards the pink if he puts this. He's got to be careful he doesn't go near the corner pocket by the yellow there. Oh, he's fouled it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 7.
Didn't see, he must have fouled the black there. Let's have a look. See, it was, yeah. That shows you that there's quite a bit of tension out there. Normally the players are pretty good pushing the cue through in a straight line. Now, can you see enough of this red to pot it? Just about.
And has Stuart Bingham missed a trick in this match? Great opportunity to go 3-0 up.
Five. 7.
Just double checking the scoreboard there. He's 14 ahead. Just needs the green and the brown. And he'll be pretty relieved because he slipped up when he was in clearing up and just snookered himself, playing a little cannon that he didn't really want to be playing. But all that'll be forgotten.
14. $19. 25.
He's not bothered with the black.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
At last, the rocket has lifted off, but he's still 2-1 behind. Stuart Bingham leads Ronnie O'Sullivan 2-1.
It's fascinating how the pressure levels were going to and fro there, and a lot on Stuart Bingham, particularly with that last safety shot they had to play, Steve.
Yeah, fantastic chance on the yellow, but he failed to get on that last red, so he had to play that safety shot, and he didn't catch it right, but he had options to perhaps play other types of shots there, but he didn't get the red save, did he?
Yeah, that's the most important thing, is to try and get the object ball. Say, he could have played a containing safety shot, maybe knocked the red on the side cushion, white on the other side cushion. OK, you hand the advantage back to Ronnie, but at least you're still in the frame. But I think the miss of the red that he had a chance to clear up, and missed the red behind the black as well. And it was a big frame, because 3-0 in a best of 11, as Stephen said, is a huge lead, no matter who you're playing.
Palpable tension, actually.
Yes.
At some points during that, wasn't there, Steve?
It certainly is, and obviously, as Stephen said, he's under a different type of pressure from in front than he is when the scoreline was level. And the closer you get to the finishing line in a match, the more you can start to have that type of pressure. It happened quite early in the match at 2-0, thinking, wow, 3-0, that would be a start.
It would, and Ronnie O'Sullivan, just for the record, his head-to-head record against Stuart Bingham is pretty emphatic. 9 wins to Stuart's 2, and the twice that Stuart's beaten him in big competitions has been, ironically, in this one, in the United Kingdom Championship, most memorably last year in the quarter-final. Played, I think, some of the best snooker we've ever seen from him then. Yeah. Has he got to hang on to that sort of memory?
Yeah, he has to draw on that. He draw on those memories. He'll forget about most of the losses, but obviously think about the positives and the times that he'd beaten them,
Yeah, should have bought a bigger watch so he could put more words on the back.
Back we go, last before the interval.
Just come up a little bit short with his safety shot. Ronnie can take the one into the left corner and avoid the black. That little nudge on the yellow has left a chance for Stuart. These are a real test of your cue action. Almost straight. Well played.
1.
Yeah, particularly after the disappointment of the last frame. Good temperament there. But guaranteed position here.
Oohs and ahs all around the Barbican. Not only from Stuart, but from most of the crowd when they seen that cue ball come towards the middle pocket. It looked like it was going in.
No.
Yeah, he's not on one to the right corner, so he's going to have to take this one down the left side. Probably need the extended rest as well. He's quite a tall lad, Stuart. He might be able to reach this. Got a slight angle to work with there if he wants to get nicely onto the black. Yeah, I didn't think he'd be able to reach it with just a normal rest.
Yeah, he's got to follow this through of both cushions for the black, so needs good cue in this. Won't want to just drop the red in because the cue will be too close to the side cushion. It's well played.
17.
May just be a little bit straight on the black, but no problem. Screwing back off the side cushion for a choice of reds.
Yeah, you can screw back somewhere near there, or if he goes a little bit further, as Stephen said, he'd got the other one, so he had a couple of options there.
24.
There's still another 3 reds available after this one.
25.
And funny enough, that little cannon has made it worse for him. He's covered a red that was available before he nudged into them there. That needs to go, and that's end of break, I think. 4 reds, 4 blacks, but unless there's a plant in there. Now let's see, that's going to the left of the pocket. If he hits the first red, it might squeeze it towards the pocket. Might work this. Might be able to squeeze it. Once again, he put everything into the plant and just didn't quite get the white where he wanted. Well done. Mid-session interval coming up.
39.
Stuart already 39 points in the front, and there's a few more to come here. Still a couple of options available to him. No really big breaks, frame-winning breaks as yet. Stuart's high is 66, Ronnie's 44.
$47. $48.
He plays that shot so well. A little bit like Ronnie. Ronnie's exceptional, but Stuart's got lovely cue action, and it's no problem for him to screw the ball back like that. Now, what a chance this would be to go to the mid-session interval leading 3-1. And it has to be said that, well, even if he doesn't clinch the frame
55.
at this visit, he could quite easily have won all 4
56.
frames. So he's going to give Ronnie something to think about at the mid-session interval. Probably go to the practice room, I would suggest.
$63. $64. $71.
Just needs one more red to secure the frame. Well, he won't mind seeing 2 reds disappear there. That definitely secures this 4th frame. Doesn't matter about missing the black.
Stuart Bingham, 73.
I think Ronnie has conceded. He's on his way out of the arena. And what a start for Stuart Bingham. He must be absolutely delighted. He leads the tournament favourite by 3 frames to 1.
And let's ask Stephen Ken, what's he done so decisively this afternoon, Ken?
Well, every time he's got in, he's scored really well. You know, off one visit there, fantastic long red. And but he looks very confident when he's in. He's playing all the lovely shots, nice cannons, and all the balls are going right into the back of the pocket. I mean, you can hear that wonderful noise, and it's a nice crisp sound. And some
remember that sound, Ken?
I remember.
I don't. I've forgotten.
Long time.
But he looks very assured of himself as well going around. You can see sometimes from players' body language as well. He looks quite confident and he's really up for it. And you know, if he keeps going the way he's going, it's going to be a long afternoon for Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie genuinely under it.
Yes, as he was yesterday against Anthony McGill at 2-0 behind, and he dug himself out of the hole there. But as we've said, this is a different prospect because this guy fancies winning, and to some degree, Ronnie's grip on the game is going to be difficult to get back with running out of frames. You know, it's 2-0, then getting it back to 2-2 or whatever. But 3-1, and then you come out and you lose the next one, then you really are under pressure.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about Joe Perry just in round 2 at the Crucible earlier this year, and Joe was up very, very close to the winning line, and Ronnie won the next 3 frames to actually go through. But that was a much longer match. He had much longer time to claw himself back in.
Yeah, and like there's no panic stations just yet for Ronnie. I mean, the interval's probably come at a good time and relax, and he'll come out with different prospect, you would feel. You know, there's still a lot of snooker to be played in this match, and he's always good from behind. Right?
Yes, okay, all right. So, well, it's amazing to think that this time last week, actually, Ronnie O'Sullivan was on the point of withdrawing from this championship altogether because he has a Weber fracture. He's actually fractured his ankle. He did so in a running accident, tripped over 12 days ago, and the swelling in his ankle was so great that last Sunday still wasn't sure if he'd turn up to play Peter Lyons. Well, he did, and with a great deal of help from the physios at Sheffield United, to whom he owes a huge debt of gratitude. Well, the rest is history. He's come back. He's made the 13th 147 of his career. He's marched into an 8th semi-final here in this United Kingdom Championship, and he's enjoyed his 39th birthday. It's been quite a week, and he's been talking to Jason Mohammed about it.
You seem to be enjoying yourself out there.
Yeah, I am. You know, I am. I just kind of had like a new lease of life really since 2011. You know, probably I had 4 great years playing snooker now, and you know, just hopefully it can keep continuing. And you know, for me, I've had a great kind of end. You know, come playing better towards as I get a little bit older. So, you know, hopefully I can play for another 5, possibly 10 years. You know, if I would never have thought that maybe 4 years ago, but at the moment I'm still able to compete with the guys. And you look at Jimmy White, he's still on the circuit, still competing. And if I keep fit and keep well, then you know, it's not a bad way to spend your life really.
And talking of keeping fit, is the ankle giving you any grief?
Well, I can't run on it for another maybe 6 weeks, 7, well, maybe 8 weeks, you know. But I'm in the gym, still doing my gym work because I worked hard to get fit, and I don't want to lose any fitness. So I still try and get to the gym and do some stuff, and then you know, and keep in shape if I can.
There are lots of people who have been writing on social media that you are one of the greatest British sportsmen of all time, and genius. And when you read that, how does that make you feel?
Well, I haven't read that, you know, and I wasn't aware that people have been saying that. But you know, I suppose we had Alex Higgins, and in a way he was, you know, called as genius, and he only won 2 world titles. So I think in a way, for me to have won 5 world titles, 5 Masters, 4 UKs, and kind of done it in the manner that maybe Jimmy White or Alex Higgins would have done it in, I think that's what people relate to, and people feel like that by playing that type of game I've been able to entertain, but also I've got a great CV. You know, I've not missed any titles, I've kind of won everything there is to win multiple times. So I get that I wasn't robotic, I wasn't boring, I was, you know, to get my success, you know, I've kind of played an attacking, aggressive style, and I think people respect that and kind of enjoy that, and they think, well, we've had everything with Ronnie. We've had the wins. He's kind of done it under pressure in the biggest tournaments, and he's also done it in a manner that probably only Alex Higgins and Jimmy White would have done it. And so, you know, I've kind of, in a way, that's probably the only way I can probably see why people would want to say that. If I was a footballer or a golfer, I'd be up there with maybe Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Roger Federer, Nadal. You know, I'd be looked upon as that way. But yeah, because it's snooker, you probably, you know, you probably don't get spoken about as much. But you know, like I said, you know, I know that the buzz that I get from playing, you know, I've had a lot of moments where that's, you know, that can't be bought, and for me that's something that I value a lot, is that I've kind of I've reached peaks and moments in my career that very few people maybe have experienced in their lifetime or as sportsmen. So I I get my satisfaction probably in that way.
In snooker circles and the wider Great British public, they do consider you to be up there with Tiger Woods and Roger Federer.
I don't really know. I mean, that's for everybody else to judge me by. You know what I mean? And if people do look at me in them terms, then I've achieved a lot more than I ever dreamed I would. It's took a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, it just took every fibre in my body to sometimes get me to where I've got to, and you can only do that if you love something, and deep down I love snooker, and by kind of going through all that, I've had some great moments in snooker, and if that's how the Great British public feel about me, then that's probably the best compliment I've ever had in my life, I just hope I can continue to perform and entertain and keep going for as long as I can.
And as we move into the business end of the tournament, Ronnie, how important is Dr. Steve Peters still to you these days?
Yeah, he's massively important, because I've worked a lot hard with Steve for the last 3-4 years, and there's still things, I still falter, and there's still things that I don't get right, and I am a perfectionist, and I'm trying to get it right, and as long as I'm on playing snooker for the rest of my career, I will continue to work with Steve, because I want to become better than Steve is at his job than he is. If you know what I'm saying.
Drives you on.
Yeah, it drives me on to suck every bit of knowledge out of Steve, because again, when coming to the end of my career, whether I can help somebody else, at least I can pass on all the stuff that I've learned, to somebody else maybe,
Stuart Bingham in the semi-final, and he beat you in the quarter-finals here last year.
Yeah.
So you're gunning for revenge.
Gunning for revenge. I hate that word revenge, but I suppose we all kind of remember results that when you've been beaten, especially because it was here last year. So it'd be great to be able to kind of reverse that result, if you like, and but it's going to be tough, because Stuart's a top player. I know he's been behind in a few matches this week, and he's come through strong. So he's grown in stature as a player, as a person, and he's gained a lot of confidence, and I know what a good player he is, so I know I'll have to be on my game to win, but I'm just pleased to be still in the tournament, and we just have to see what happens. It should be a good game.
Yes, he won in Shanghai as well, didn't he? And I know that he's built momentum up, because at one stage earlier this week it looked like he was going out against Joel Walker.
Yeah, because we've been playing pretty much at the same time in a few matches, so I was kind of catching a lot of his games, and Joel's another one of them players coming through who's going to be a top player, and and Stuart showed his experience to come through there. It could have been easy to panic, and again against Graham Dott, to come back from 4-1 down against Graham Dott, I mean, he's a tough competitor, but he's done really well to get to the semi-finals, and he'll want to go one better than he did last year.
Should the Ronnie fans buy their tickets for Sunday?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Just hold on, everybody. There's a lot of mileage in this semi-final yet, but some fascinating points raised by Ronnie there, not least, is he undervalued as a sportsman? Now, that's something we've been asking you, and you've been tweeting us, and the response from you is very firmly, yes, he is. Should he be in the same bracket as Federer and Nadal and McIlroy and Tiger Woods in your books?
Well, of course, there are people out there, and some are journalists, who consider that snooker's not a sport and golf is, and the definition of a sport is sometimes how they judge things. Regardless of the athletic abilities needed to play a sport, the competitive abilities and what the human body has to go through to actually achieve brilliance in any way, shape or form requires the same type of animal, and Ronnie O'Sullivan should be considered in the competitive arena, and I think to some degree the word sport is the misleading word. If you took the word sport out of the equation and just said the best competitive performer in the world, then Ronnie O'Sullivan would probably just be regarded as a competitive performer.
So a perception problem about the sport in general, would you agree with that?
Possibly, but I mean, I think he's one of the greatest British sports people of all time, and I defy any other top sportsman in any other sport to be able to what he can do, right-handed, left-handed, at the top of a sport, under the severe pressure, and produce it for so long as well. Don't forget, I mean, he won this tournament back in 1993. He's been producing sport at its finest for like 20 odd years, you know, at the top of his game and still doing it. And, you know, I think he should be loved and adhered by, you know, most of the British public, and I don't think he is, you know, and I don't think the journalists are, as Steve said. I don't think he gets the recognition that he deserves.
Because I take your point about longevity. It's extraordinary. I mean, there have been many chapters in his career, but this latest chapter under the tutelage of mind guru, if you like, at Steve Peters has been extraordinary. The last 3 years, he has reached uncharted new heights for him.
Yes, and if you ask Steve Peters what is required, he would say it's exactly the same process he'd go through as anybody in any Olympic discipline. Yes. An individual one. It's different to a team game. But there are many different individual sports out there, archery, shooting, all types of things that are in the same ilk. You know, you've got to think before you act, and those types of disciplines require exactly the same, whether it's bowls, darts, whatever. Golf.
Non-aerobic sports.
No, non-aerobic sports, and I think there is possibly there's more emphasis given to aerobic sports because you actually sweat than the ones where you don't sweat.
OK, well, there's plenty of sweating going on out there. Certainly for Ronnie, because he's 3-1 down in this one against Stuart Bingham, as we said. Stuart's career has been really the polar opposite to that of Ronnie. He only turned pro 3 years after Ronnie, and yet it's taken him nearly 20 years to get towards the top of this game. Really, all that's missing for the man from Essex is one of snooker's big three, the UK, the world, or the Masters title. That's what's to come on his CV, perhaps.
And what a way to finish this has been. Stuart Bingham making his second century of the match, his fourth of the tournament. Bingham absolutely delighted to somehow scrape to win. He wins and goes into the semi-final by 6 frames to 5.
How are you doing this, though? Because, you know, what was it, Tuesday, Wednesday? I remember being in the TV studio and I was looking at the scoreboard thinking he's going out here, and then you hold it back against Joel Walker, and then you beat Ricky Walden 6-0, and here you are in the semi-finals. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's just it's that inner self-belief. Obviously, coming off a good season myself, winning 2 tournaments already, you just have that little bit of self-belief that you can, even at 5-3 down, 5-4 down, you just think all it is 2 or 3 frames. Can easily make like 360s, 370s, and before you know it, you're 5-all and you've got a shout for the match.
So it's a semi-final, and it's against Ronnie O'Sullivan. And of course, you beat Ronnie, didn't you, here in the quarterfinals last year? So that must give you some confidence going into the semi-final.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, ain't a best of 17 now. It's obviously short format, best of 11, and you got to get stuck in straight away. I think, other than one game, I've been next to him every match. And I've been given sort of a few chances away early doors, so you got to take every chance you get from Ronnie. He don't give you much sometimes, but you do get chances against anyone, and that'll be the key: to take every chance and hopefully come out on top.
What's it like, Stuart, when you come up against Ronnie O'Sullivan? Given the fact that when you walk out into that arena, you know in your heart, you're a very honest man. You know in your heart that a lot of the snooker fans in that auditorium for the semi-final will be hoping that Ronnie O'Sullivan wins that final. How do you handle that mentally?
I've been around the block for years, so I just got to concentrate on my own game. I know, say, walking out there playing Ronnie, it actually eases the pressure because you know he's going to do what he does. So you just sort of try and concentrate on your own game. You get a chance. It's a different atmosphere. He's got that aura that Davis and Hendry had. So you just got to try and keep calm in yourself and say, as I say, take every chance.
Does it frustrate you as a top professional as well that people turn up sometimes just to see the Ronnie show?
There's Ronnie fans and there's snooker fans, and the Ronnie fans are a little bit different. But snooker fans, they still love Ronnie, but they're a bit more appreciative of it all. But you get Ronnie fans. I've been at a tournament before and he got beaten. Someone said, "Well, might as well go home. Nothing else here." And you still had John Higgins there, you still had Mark Williams, you still had Neil Robertson, Mark Selby, and that was coming from a Ronnie fan. So don't get me wrong, he is the #1 fan base player that we've got, but it just needs a bit more etiquette, I suppose.
Is there a strategy when you're playing Ronnie O'Sullivan?
Yeah, not miss. Again, what I said, you've got to take every chance you get. I've got to come out and try and put pressure on him. Every player sort of suffers with a bit of pressure, and if learning with the top players that once you get your chance, you've got to punish them and get on top early, and do that to anyone. And most people do fold, but there's no strategy. You just got to go out and just hope that it's your day.
And when you look at that roll of honour, Stuart, when you look at that roll of honour of UK champions, it's littered with the game's greatest players. What would it mean to lift that trophy on Sunday?
Everything. I was obviously so close to getting to the final. That would be a massive occasion for me, to get to a final in the UK. Yeah, hopefully I can put on a good performance tomorrow.
Wish you the best.
Cheers.
Yes, it's the second time in 2 years that Stuart has actually made it to the semi-finals. He was beaten by Neil Robertson in rather dramatic circumstances last year in a final frame decider. But for Stuart, how much is it about strength of mind as much as strength of game in this circumstance against O'Sullivan?
Well, I think you have to have your game in good shape, and it has to have been there for a long time to build up that strength of mind. But Ronnie O'Sullivan does put a lot of pressure on all departments of your game. So therefore, you have to fight against quizzing yourself in that way. But the game's always about strength of the mind, and also in staying in the present as well. So he's got to do that for the second half of this match.
And in this case, front running. I wonder how comfortable one would be front running against an animal like O'Sullivan.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be afraid of it. I don't think he's going to bottle it. You know, if the opportunity presents itself, and but it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. But at the moment, he's looking very, very good. I mean, even in that interview, you can tell he's very, very confident. He's very relaxed. He's not fazed by playing O'Sullivan, you know. And there's that little bit of steel in him as well. He likes the fight against Ronnie, and he likes the fact that he has to fight against the fans as well. And that sometimes can be the little bit of inspiration that you might need to get you over the line.
OK, well, we're almost going back to that. But a quick word about the second semi-final, which is this evening. We'll be live on BBC Two at 7 o'clock for that. It's Judd Trump facing Stephen Maguire, the former world #1 facing the former world #2. Both of these men have won this UK championship in the past. Stephen Maguire did it 10 years ago. Judd Trump in 2011, playing that wonderful brand of naughty snooker, as he called it. And this season is playing his best stuff, really, since then.
As the tournament progresses, you do need to up your level, and it all starts now. I've stayed patient all week against all my opponents, and just tried to play as well as possible.
If you're struggling with your game, you're not going to get to the later stages, so it's hard to build up a momentum if you're not winning, a lot of consecutive matches. This one I've had a little run, and if I play well in the semis, then I can make the final, and then I'll take it from there.
Stephen's a real tough player. He's won this tournament before. He knows what it's all about, and if he does go in front, then for me it would be real hard to get back into it. I'll have to get off to a great start again, because otherwise he can just walk all over you.
Who gets a good start, I think, will probably run away with it. First to 6, you've got a little bit of time, but not much. And Judd, he's amazing at these shots. I hope his tip comes off when he does it. If his tip comes off, then, I'll win the match.
He's obviously nice playing in front of the crowd, but when it gets down to one table, it's sort of extra special. And for a snooker player, it's probably the best feeling.
Yeah, looking forward to that one as well. As I say, it starts 7 o'clock tonight on BBC Two. Plenty to look forward to. By the way, the final is best of 19, so we'll have an afternoon and an evening session tomorrow evening. Then 1 week tomorrow, it'll be up to you to decide who wins the last big title of 2014 on the BBC. Yep, a week tomorrow, that's when it all kicks off, and it'll be in Glasgow's Hydro Arena. But right now, the Barbican Centre. Here we go. And it's Stuart Bingham, world number 9, with a 3-1 advantage. First to 6 will book their place in tomorrow's final. Let's get back to Dennis Taylor and Stephen Hendry.
Thank you, Hazel, and a terrific round of applause for the two players, and Stuart with that little smile on his face. That was interesting listening to those interviews.
Thank you, frame 5. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Looking forward to this frame. Big frame in the match for both players. 4-1 and 3-2s, obviously. Huge difference. Interesting to see how O'Sullivan plays, because he wasn't anywhere near his A game in those first 4. Obviously put under pressure by the start Stuart made. Can Stuart carry on where he left off?
Very good indeed. And Stuart, when he was talking about Ronnie O'Sullivan fans and snooker fans are very, very fair. They may have the favourite, but if you produce good snooker on the table, they'll appreciate you as well. And well, just for that last shot, he got a very nice round of applause. So, you know, they're all snooker fans, even though they have the favourite. They'll appreciate it if you produce the goods on the table.
Might be forced into taking this red on the left corner. He can get on the black. And in the end, you hit that red on the wrong side.
As was mentioned earlier, this is the first time the semi-final in the UK Championship has been played over 11 frames. It was 17 frames previously and then 19 in the final, so it is a little bit of a sprint, even though it's still the first to 6, and this is a half chance for Stuart. I suppose it has to be said, he's only needed half a chance in some of the frames to get himself in. And that's the magnificent trophy here for the winner of the United Kingdom Championship. Stuart Bingham would love to have his name on that little beauty. You can play around for the blue or the black here. He'd like to get the black back onto its spot. He can stun round, miss the reds, and shouldn't be a problem. Didn't have to get on the black straight away, but he will get it back on the spot in a few shots' time, but it's gone a little bit further than he intended. Now he might have to play a cannon, as you can see there he's indicating. where he'd like to cannon into the bunch. So an early key shot coming up. That looks pretty good to me. In fact, it couldn't have worked out better. He's dead straight on this red as we see them open up. And got precious little to do with the cue ball to get on the black. Oh, what an early opportunity in this 5th frame.
11.
I think he's having the cue ball cleaned this time just simply because of the way he's going to roll the black in. He didn't get a kick on the previous shot. This is the type of shot that you might get a heavy contact on.
Yeah, some players get the cue ball clean just as a way of composing themselves.
18. 19.
'Talking about composing himself, he really does look
26.
composed out there, doesn't he? He's doing precious
27.
little wrong at the moment. He's keeping Ronnie in his seat. And you could hear a pin drop at the moment in the Barbican.
34.
There's the pot success rate at 92%. Ronnie down at 85, so. And just look
35.
at the difference in table time.
Impressive stuff, this. Stuart Bingham, though. Tremendous long pot to get in. And since then, it's pretty much had the cue ball in a string.
43. 50. 51.
That's the first careless one in this break. If he's left himself too straight to play a cannon here, that was a poor shot. He'd be disappointed with that one. Just as he's coming to the point in the break to try and win the frame, just needed to be level in the black so he could cannon into those 5 reds and leave one to the right corner. Decent recovery. Really had to force this cue ball. There was very little
58.
angle there in the black. That was a good shot.
It's 58 ahead, so key shot coming up. Not that many pots away from winning another frame against the favourite. Yeah, he could avoid canning into the reds, which was a good thing.
59.
So just this red and another colour. And it's going to be 4-1. I think a lot of this audience will be in a little bit of shock. They weren't expecting this. They knew it was going to be a tough match, but Stewart has dominated the match so far.
Yeah, this is turning into a big test now for Ronnie.
65.
I'm sure everyone came here today expecting the Ronnie O'Sullivan show just to continue. He's up against it. And a top player at the top of his form.
Yeah, and confidently played there. He only needed the black, but he just
72.
played his normal shot and opened the reds.
73.
And he's doing it in style, isn't he? One visit. It's the highest break of the match so far. Almost missed the black there, which wouldn't have mattered. But Stewart had the highest break in the UK
80.
until Ronnie made that maximum break. Stewart had made a break of 142.
81.
But this is top class. It really is.
87.
This will be his 5th century if he can go ahead and make one.
$88.
There's been 86 centuries in this year's UK Championship.
95.
That's going some. 128
96.
players started out here at the Barbican. But that is a superb century break from Stuart Bingham, and he gets the applaud of this crowd here.
104.
You produce the goods and they'll give you the response.
Yeah, it doesn't get any simpler, does it, snooker? Pot along red and then clear
110.
up. You win the frame.
Is it there? It is.
112. 115.
He doesn't hang about, and he's playing like this. Little exhibition shot there. Well, that's one way of getting on the blue.
119.
The white's close to the pocket. No, that's another
124.
exhibition shot. Try and make sure the pink and black for a clearance.
130.
Well, we wondered what would happen after the mid-session interval. You've just witnessed Stuart Bingham come out and clear the table with that magnificent break of 137, and he extends his lead to 4-1. He'll be a happy chappy, Stephen. I mean, sometimes the interval can change things around, but he has come out firing on all cylinders, and what a break he's made there.
Yeah, and here we'll see how the break starts. Not only is it a tremendous pot on the long red, look at the distance between cue ball and object ball, but the way he controls the cue ball so confidently. You'll see here how short he finishes on a bulk colour. Normally players would play this as a shot to nothing even, bring the cue ball back to the bulk area, but he's so confident that he just brings that cue ball into the open of the table, and then from then on, as I said, the cue ball was on a string. It was brilliant.
Yeah, within a couple of shots he'd got the black back onto its spot, and then everything, well, he made it look very easy in the end. Now has he put some pressure on Ronnie O'Sullivan. 4-1 down. You always feel as long as your opponent needs 2 frames, you're in with a chance, but Ronnie's going to have to come out firing on all cylinders now.
Yeah, we're used to seeing Ronnie basically steamroller opponents, be the front runner, and he's so good in that respect. So I'm looking forward to seeing the reaction from Ronnie here. This is a big test.
Thank you. Frame 6, Stuart Bingham to break.
Yeah, he didn't fully commit to that because he knew he could leave the red next to the black. He was making sure he got a good cue ball there. If that white had been any further off the cushion, the red next to the black was available. I think Ronnie's going to have to produce a couple of good safety shots because Stuart Bingham's certainly not going to play anything careless. He's going to keep things tight. He had lots of side on that, and he didn't avoid the double kiss, and there's a red will go at the back of the bunch. There might be another one available, but yeah. There you see the one that he can take on. So that was a good safety shot he played previously. Oh, now then.
That was a nervy one. He knows he's got Ronnie under pressure. It's not often Ronnie goes that amount of time without potting anything, Dennis. Over 23 minutes almost.
I've seen him win 3 frames in that amount of time.
One.
What a test this is for the favourite.
Seven. Eight.
You wouldn't have been happy with that shot.
13. 14.
That's good recovery now. They look to be all blocking each other, but he's got the perfect angle on the blue, so it's an early key shot coming up here. No, that hasn't worked out. He's just got the one possible pot to the middle pocket.
19.
It just went into the gap. He didn't want to get through that gap, really. And this is a tester. Never easy, that. Never easy, that.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 19.
And the red will go to the right of the pink and reds, and he can get onto the black. He's right under it at the moment.
No. It's Stuart starting to see the winning line already. After that break in the last frame, the 2 reds he's missed. A little bit twitchy.
One.
Just hit that much too hard there. He's overhit that as well, so he's just lost his timing at the moment, has Ronnie. Played for the red next to the yellow. Now he'll have to take the long one. He's been kept off the table. That's why he's just lost a little bit of his timing. the reds previously and didn't finish on one nicely. Let's see what happens this time. That's not the best. He had the chance to go into the bunch. Sometimes he leaves it, Ronnie, for a few shots, but
12.
He played to slip past those two reds. And there might be one that'll just pot the second of the two reds. It's tight, but it's there.
13. $16. 17.
Wants to be high on this pink so he can disturb the bunch. That looks almost dead straight. May be able to force an angle slightly, pop the pink into the right hand side of the pocket as we look at it. I felt it was too straight, so obviously needs an angle now on the black.
23.
Or could play for the pink to the left centre. Play the cue ball into an area here, so a choice of pink or black.
I don't know if he can drop it in or go around the angles with a little bit of screw. Well, he's took his eye off the red. He got the positional side of it. Just concentrated on what he was doing with the cue ball there. This time he hasn't left one, or surely there's not a gap past the pink. Well, if there's a gap between the reds and the pink to pot this, it's amazing. It looks quite tight, but oh, he's hit the pink. I thought it was quite tight. So suddenly, with this 4-1 lead and having cleared the table with 137 break, Stewart seems to have got himself under a little bit of pressure, even though he leads 4-1.
We'll start to pick up on that. Start to think, well, maybe my opponent can't get over the winning line.
6. 7.
Again, he's way short with the cue ball there.
Nine.
And once again, he's either over-hitting them or just under-hitting them slightly, but still should be okay. Well, he's not okay. He's far from okay. Okay, he leads by 57 points, but it's just a timing thing at the moment, and just needs that bit of confidence to get him back into his stride, because his positional play has just gone astray for the time being.
Yeah, he's not even missing. He's missing them by a long way, the pots.
played more bad shots in this frame than he has in the whole match, Stuart.
1.
Yeah, he's got Ronnie right under the cosh today, and he's just basically gifted Ronnie this frame. He'll be really disappointed, Stuart.
Yeah, I think Stuart's just got to forget this frame and get his focus on the next. I mean, if someone had told him before the match started you'd be leading the favourite 4 frames to 2, you would have snapped the hand off. So forget about this frame.
9. $15.
Yeah, we're so used
16.
to seeing Ronnie winning frames with 1 chance. He's had 3 or 4 chances in this frame. He just seemed to lose his way a little bit with his positional play, but that's because he's been kept off the table. So once he starts knocking them in again, you'd think normal play would resume. And I think he'd like to clear up here just to restore that confidence.
23. $30. 31.
It's amazing. Ronnie never scored a point in the previous frame. Stuart cleared up with 137. Stuart's not going to score a point in this frame. So there's lots of snooker to be played in this semi-final, you would have to say. It's all going to be fascinating
35.
stuff.
$37. 40.
Be interesting to see if Stuart stays in the arena
44.
after this frame, because he's made 3 or 4 careless mistakes. Maybe just compose himself. As I say, you just forget about
49.
that one and you know, think about your 4-2 lead.
55.
Highest break of the match coming at just the right time.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. In fact, both players are leaving the arena. It's game on now. Ronnie O'Sullivan is just 2 behind. 4-2 to Stuart Bingham.
Well, what an eventful couple of frames. Actually, somebody tweeted after Stuart's 137 in frame 5, Ronnie seems to have turned up today dressed as Stuart Bingham. There was an element of that. But what's your interpretation of what's happened in that last frame?
It's hard to believe what's happened, to be honest. I mean, he hasn't really missed many pots for the first 5 frames, and a wonderful century break in the previous frame. And then he's made 3 or 4 like complete misses and misjudgments out of nowhere, you know, all of a sudden, and it's gifted Ronnie a frame, as Stephen said in commentary, and sometimes you know, that might be the lift that Ronnie needs, because he's, as Dennis said as well, his timing is completely out. He's misplacing his positional shots. He's missing a few shots. Stuart has him where he wants him, and the last thing he wants to do is throw him a lifeline, and that was a lifeline.
Both of them looked rattled, to be fair, in that last frame, Steve.
Yeah, Ronnie needed some help from Stuart Bingham to get back in the match, and he's finally got it, as Stephen said. Somewhere down the line, every player sees the finishing line, and then it becomes doubly hard. It's like all of a sudden you've got a bit of elastic pulling you back to the other player. You feel as if what looked easy to start with, and then you can't even put one single ball. Fascinating how the game can one moment be so easy, and the split second later, it's the opposite.
Now, you've both doubtless been in that position before, having experienced that. How do you stop it happening? How do you get yourself back into where you want to be?
It's sometimes nigh on impossible to stop yourself falling out into free fall. You can obviously go out to the toilet, try and regroup your thoughts. Sometimes you need an interval. Other times, the other guy has to get back and you're until the stage where you're sort of back on even terms before you recover.
It's all got very, very interesting.
Yes, it always is when Steve Davis is around. Don't call him interesting Steve Davis for nothing. Once again, Ronnie with the break-off shot has left Stuart a possible pot here. It's amazing the number of times off the break-off that Ronnie's left that red out, so he's not quite getting the break-off shot as he would like.
Five. Played for the red that's above the black there to the right corner, but always knew he had this to the middle in reserve. Not the cue. Ball is finished right in front of the pink, so this is awkward. Now you just have to make sure you pot the red. Forget the position. Unless the red below the pink pots to the right corner. Could be end up break after this blue. Well, there you see it does go. And what's that cue ball to get away from the cushion though?
11.
Little smile there from Stuart. He doesn't like this now. Might refuse that pot. The last thing he wants to do is get down and miss a fairly tough pot and leave Ronnie right in amongst the balls again. Don't blame him
Bingham 11
for that choice of shot. Once again, not the best safety shot that Ronnie's ever played. He can get past the blue to the potting angle of this red. It's just the white will be canning into the red, probably this on the black spot. So it's a type of pot that he's very good at, Stuart, but he's looking to see where he could send the cue ball, and there's not much of a gap to get through if he takes the pot on. I mean, the black's near the right corner pocket, but well, keep your eye on the cue ball if he knocks this red in. Didn't really get near the pot. He played the positive shot, but it was a long way off it.
One.
Now this might not tie the black up. It's got to go as near to the red as possible, and I think the black will still be available, and if not, the red will be available. So if the black won't go, he'll play for the blue or pink here. Yep, he feels the black will pot. Yeah, Ronnie's just asking him again. It's got to be as close to that red as possible without touching it. So
17.
if you can just nudge the red out of the way, it'll help the situation and free the black spot. Now, it looks as if the red goes as well. You'd think just one of them would go when it's going back on its own spot, and it's got to get as close as possible without touching the red. It's a delicate little operation for the referee, but
24. $25. $32.
It's got enough angle to follow through of 2 cushions. You can play this going the other way of 2 cushions, but
33.
Hasn't quite got the cue ball out enough.
yeah, you were absolutely right, Stephen. He didn't get the white out as he intended, and he made a good effort there, but the cue ball has slipped away up to where the blue is. So this is a key pot coming up to keep this break going. Got himself 29 points in front. Well played.
41. $47.
That helps the situation, the pink going onto the blue spot. He's coming up a bit short here.
48.
Giving himself a little bit to do to get nicely onto the next red.
In between the green and brown with right hand side to come off the side cushion here.
$54. $55.
I've always said that Ronnie's a great front runner, but make no mistake about it, when he's under pressure, and he was certainly under pressure here at 4-1 down, he's as good as there ever has been in the game at battling his way back.
$61.
Quick glance at the scoreboard there. He's a couple of pots away from getting back to 4-3. I think he's got the angle here to bring the reds into play. He'll only need another one red. Oh, he's run right through the pack. Didn't have to hit them quite as hard as that. He wanted to make sure he opened the reds up. In the end,
68.
He got that much topspin. It just pushed right through them, and now he's left with a difficult one to secure the frame. 59 possible points left on the table. And he's only 57 ahead, and there's nothing safe at the moment. It's all right pushing a red safe, but he needs a good cue ball. That's more important. Yeah, he sacrificed putting a red safe, trying to get a
68.
A good cue ball. It's a terrific effort there, but he'd love to have secured the frame at that visit.
Great shot.
You know, he made that look easy. He had to swerve that slightly. He couldn't see that red. And because he'd so much side on it, it straightened the cue ball up. I mean, he made it look so easy, but there is a red will go here. And if this goes in, it's a chance. Well, Stewart's now lost a little bit of timing. And in the previous frame, Stephen, that type of shot, he was missing it to that side of the pocket, so he's just cueing across it slightly at the moment.
And this was a tough pot. Playing at that pace, there was a chance the red was going to come away from the pocket.
Stewart's got to be careful. He doesn't want to knock one of the reds safe. At the moment, he needs all the reds with high-valued colours because he's got very little to play with regarding the score. He's got to get on the black. He might be okay with one pink. Ronnie is hoping to see enough of this to screw the white back to the bulk area, send the red into the blue maybe, and mess the table up. But where's that red going? The left side of the table. It's going in the pocket. Wow. He'd got a good cue ball, but if that red had stayed out, what a timely fluke that was.
Ronnie O'Sullivan won.
Have a look at this. He's tried to mess things up there, but boy, what a fluke. He's going to slip around the back of it, is he? Just sneak in this red. And that's the frame secure now. And no matter how much talent you have, you can't beat a little bit of luck.
Sullivan won in the frame.
And Ronnie certainly had it there. And he takes another frame. He now closes to just one behind. Stuart Bingham 4, Ronnie O'Sullivan 3.
And how this match has turned around in the last couple of frames, and especially for Stuart Bingham, 4-1 up. He just made a break of 137, looked fluent, looked confident, and then all this happens.
Yeah, quite amazing, really. Well, that was the first one. You know, and he's missing these by quite some margin, to be honest. You know, I mean, even this one, he's hit the pink there. You know, and it's quite unusual because of the manner in which he started off this match. Because from the beginning of the match, from ball 1, he's been so on top of his form. He's been seeing everything, and everything is working out perfectly. And this will frustrate him because, like, when you're out there, Stephen, you miss balls by that amount. You actually get a little bit flustered, you know, and say, "What's going on here?"
We've all been there. We all started the game off well and ended up collapsing. It's the worst feeling as a snooker player. It's better to have collapsed at the start and get your game together later on. But he knows the significance of some of the shots he's played, so therefore, basically, it's just being magnified by the fact it's a place in the final, it's a place on the centre stage in the UK, which always has a special significance. And you know, yeah, he stalled a bit. But you know, the credit is that he's got in front by such a situation that he's given himself some breathing space. If it does go wrong, he's still in a situation where he's sort of got a game, you know.
Yeah.
He's seen coming back at him though. Obviously, Stuart, he's won the last 2 frames as Ronnie, but the seeds of doubt must now be there.
Seeds of doubt are there, but what I would say is that, you know, he's going to get chances because Ronnie is still not on top of his game. Ronnie hasn't played anywhere near the way he can, so he knows he's going to get chances. But it depends on how few and far between those chances come and what he's going to do with them.
Yeah, the 8th frame of a possible 11. Here we go.
And once again, both players are leaving this shot on. A pot to the corner and round the back of the black. They're just not getting the break off as they are intending. How's the kiss on the green? It's pretty good because he can get the brown, and they're just coming up a little bit short with the break-off shot, and they're so good at this type of shot. You know, both Stuart and Ronnie are knocking the red in. If he can get, he could even get on the red next to the black here. And he's played that perfectly. And it's an early chance for the Rocket.
Six.
Yeah, the momentum in this match is changing. He switched from Stuart to Ronnie.
$13. 14.
That's the pot success rate for the last couple of frames, and Ronnie's up to 90 and Stuart dropped down to 44%.
$21.
Yeah, well, that 6th frame for Stuart Bingham be the one that he remembers
22.
for the wrong reasons at the end of this match, when he was dominating the match.
Ronnie's going into the bunch off this next shot, as you can see. And if the pink goes,
30.
That's a bonus. If not, it'll be the long blue. And plenty of room for the pink to pot.
$36. 37.
He's finished a bit straight on the black, but I think he got a kick there. It's definitely sounded like a heavy contact. Played that well, but let's have a look if this jumped.
44.
Yeah, it did. That's why he finished straight on the black.
$45.
And how many times have we seen this with Ronnie O'Sullivan when his back's against the wall? And it was at 4-1. Okay, had a little bit of help from Stuart Bingham, but he's back timing
50.
everything the way he has done throughout the whole of this championship.
51.
Yeah, he's obviously shown great character to come back into the match, but we maybe don't see him come back as much as other players because he's very rarely behind in matches, Dennis. Normally he's dominating.
59. $66.
We're seeing obviously how
67
quickly these frames can disappear. Frames not even 5 minutes old, and he's one pot away from winning it.
That's horrendous.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 67.
Ronnie smiles, but
yeah.
what a kick that was. I mean, even Stuart's reacting there, just, you know, acknowledged to Ronnie there on the way around as if to say, "Ooh, I mean, this is a bad one. Look at that." So Stuart at the moment can tie, but he needs to take all blacks. He's overcut that. He's overcut it.
Stuart Bingham won.
So Stuart starting to suffer a little bit at the moment. Just lost his way somewhat. There's only 59 possible points on the table. There's 66 the difference, as you can see there. So Stuart will be looking for 3 reds, 3 blacks, and then the snookers that he needs.
Black, yeah.
Eight. Stuart Bingham, 8. Eight. 9. Foul.
He'd be worried
Ronnie
about the
O'Sullivan,
tip.
9,
He'd be
Bingham,
having
7.
a quick look at the tip to
Fine
make sure he
conceded,
didn't
fine.
take a lump
Ronnie
out of
O'Sullivan.
it. But that is the end of the frame. And with breaks of 62, 68 and 67, we'll show you just playing a screw back, jump right over the top of it. But I think the tip's okay. But more importantly, Ronnie O'Sullivan is all square at 4 frames all, but anxiously looking at the tip. And has he taken a little piece out of it? I think it's okay. I think it's fine. Well, what a turnaround, Stephen, in this match. Stuart Bingham 4-1 up, and then all of a sudden, you know, after he cleared the table at 137, he seemed to have lost his way completely.
Yes, I mean, being blunt, Stuart's gone at the minute, and from being going 4-1 up, it's and only after this match, if he does go on to lose it, he'll have to think about what happened to him mentally after going 4-1 up.
Yeah, the break-off shot's so important. Both Ronnie and Stuart haven't been getting it quite right. I mean, that's the angle, but you want to get over tight on the cushion and block the possible pot, but they're coming up a little bit short. But what a great red that Ronnie knocked in there.
Yeah, these reds are the pros would expect to pot them reds 7-8 times out of 10, and obviously it's a great way of getting in. As we've seen earlier on, Stuart Bingham potted that and made a total clearance. So the break-off's very important.
Take your seats quickly, please.
Just a few people getting back into their seats there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Let's see if Ronnie gets the break-off shot this time, but it's not so bad because there's a red blocking the possible pot to the right corner. The tip looks fine. You always keep looking at it, but it's fine. Sometimes you can just take a little piece out of it, but no problem. All it does is put a little shiny bit on it, so you get plenty of chalk in and you're okay.
Put the cameras away, please.
Paul Collier just telling someone to put the camera away, please.
One.
Oh, the pink goes, and if he can run through, if he's straight, he can maybe get himself onto the red that's near the black to bring it into play. He doesn't have to do it with this shot. But, now if the pink won't spot, it'll have to go on the blue. But he can get himself onto the black here and then onto the red next to it. And that will clear the black for both corner pockets. And all of a sudden, it's Ronnie who looks very confident, and Stuart Bingham, well, you know, that picture tells a story, doesn't it? It's the last 3 frames, so Stuart's pot success rate's gone right down to 50%, and Ronnie's has jumped to 91%.
16. $23. $24. $31.
32. Not as easy as it looks, this one. Yep. It's never straightforward, that one. A bit of a test for Stuart Bingham. I'll just show you that black when you're cutting it back. It's never easy. You can't see the pocket in your eye line, but this one shot is a tester for Stuart Bingham. He's missed quite a few over the last couple of frames. This to get a little bit of confidence going. And as Stephen Hendry said, at the moment Stuart has gone. And where's the red going? Safe is the answer, but he has lost his timing somewhat now. You could see the cue, the backhand just going out to the right slightly. That's a sign of a bit of tension. I don't think there's ever been a player that doesn't suffer from it at some stage in his career. Needs the green or pink to cover that red. If he plays up into the right corner, he's got to get the correct spot, otherwise he'd leave that potable, the one to the left of the black. And that looks pretty good. Same scenario for Stuart.
I'm just wondering if we can get to this red that he's looking at now. There's a big pocket. If he wants to play that pot with that red there.
Well spotted, Stephen, but can he see enough of that red? Because if he goes in off the other red, he'll clear the black. Oh, what a shot this would be.
Surprised Ronnie never thought of that when he played his. Maybe he was trying to cover that as well, but that was always on. He's not on this red, I don't think.
Eight. Oh, we got a little double kiss there, and it still went in.
Nine.
Okay, he's close to the cushion, but just having a look at the angle. Can he just drop the blue in and hold for a red to the left corner? You don't want to be having to play these with a lot of pace. Well, he had to do. He didn't feel that he could just hold the white, so that's end of break.
$14. Stuart Bingham, 14.
Yeah, just okay. He wasn't expecting to bring that red up towards the middle pocket, but he's okay. Ronnie was looking at the possibility of taking this pot on, but
I don't think he can get around the back of the black, so that's risky if he does take it on. He's got an easy escape off the side of the reds, but to me, if he pots that, I think he's going to cannon into the red and black. Yeah, he's back to the safety shot. I think that's the correct choice. There's a red coming up the table, but he's got a pretty good cue ball there. It would have been much better had the red not have travelled up. I don't think Stewart will mind this little bout of safety play. It'll just help him to play his way into the game again, because he has missed some very easy pots, so a little tactical battle is maybe just what he needs. That was very difficult, trying to find a gap back down the table from there and take the pot on. He didn't get anywhere near the pot, and the result was he cannoned the red, and it's not an easy starter for Stewart, just hampered slightly with that red. The other one that's on the pink spot is a bit easier to cue at. This is the better one for position, but it's a bit of a distraction, that red.
Yeah, that'll make him feel a whole lot better. That was a good shot. Pot and position. Oh, what a chance. Just a little nudge in this red next to the black.
Eight. Nine. 16. 17.
He'll be very disappointed if he doesn't win this frame from here.
24. 25.
'It's just what he needed, wasn't it? A chance in amongst the balls with his hand on the table. But the opening
32.
pot was a good one to get him in. It's a chance he wasn't expecting, but
33.
Ronnie's mistake let him in.
Pink ball.
Sure.
39.
Yeah, Ronnie took a very difficult shot to try and pot this and find the gap. If he had to double that red up the table off the side cushion, left the white tight here, he'd have been okay, but that was a big risk there, and he didn't get anywhere near the pot, and that's the reason he left Stewart in.
40.
Stewart now needs the red that's on the right cushion. But it'll be all that he needs, so he won't have to do anything positionally wise if he gets on
44.
that red. Just left himself a little bit more angle in this red than he wanted.
$45.
Yeah, he'd want to get as close to the red. If he can screw off the cushion and get somewhere near his hand, I've got another white there, that would be perfect, and then he can just drop it in.
Played it well. 52.
Just this red needed. And he'll be feeling much
53.
better now, and every credit to Stewart Bingham here. He lost the last 3 frames, but Ronnie, a mistake with his attempted difficult pot. Give Stewart this opportunity. It doesn't matter about missing the black.
53.
Well, Ronnie's coming back to the table, but what's the difference? 35 with 27 on. It's a tall order. Oh, it's amazing. People actually thought he missed the pot there. He was playing the snooker. This time Ronnie puts the 2 on the table. So Stewart Bingham, after losing 3 in a row, has got himself back into the lead. He now just needs 1 more frame to get through to tomorrow's final.
And really that chance presented to Stewart because of that rather risky shot that Ronnie took on, Ken, and it looks like he settled himself down a bit, but it was much needed, that frame, for Stewart.
Yeah, it was much needed. It was gifted by Ronnie, to be honest. I mean, he took a very difficult pot on. I'm not quite sure why he couldn't clip. I mean, when we look from the top angle, there's the red there that's on the left-hand side cushion. I'm not quite sure from our angle whether you could see that, but if you could see that half ball, it's a straightforward shot. Half ball, cue ball back into balk. But it was a very risky, not only a pot, but trying to get the cue ball back to safety. But fair play to Stewart. As I said, he was always going to get chances. It's just a matter of composing himself and taking them, and he duly did there. It was a much-needed break.
And we were chatting as Ronnie was coming back in this match about how basically the momentum changes, but the psychology changes as well when you get on even terms once again.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously Stewart's there sort of restarted the engines with a good opening red after Ronnie had missed that. But so often that does happen. And when you're in that vein, it might be difficult for people to understand who have never competed in any type of sport that like watching snooker. But like the pressures on being in front are the same as like the long distance runner. When you start looking over your shoulder instead of actually looking to the finishing line, you can't help but look over your shoulder, and that affects your cue arm. But then once all of a sudden you've got somebody to run up against and you're roughly level, you stop worrying about anything and just got on with the job, as you know full well you've done him many times before. And so, you know, Stewart's in that situation now, but now it's down to panic stations who can hold their nerve the best.
OK, well, let's find out, because Ronnie's come back and, you know, having that great momentum with the 62, 68, 67 breaks, he's got himself back into it here, but once again, and that's the great beauty of snooker, the psychology, the pressure changes once again. Now Ronnie's under it, and he's really under it.
He is under it, yeah, and maybe just one mistake, maybe just one safety shot may cost them this match, you know, and a place in the final. But I still think it's going to to and fro, because both players are a little bit nervous today. They haven't played at their best. And I still think there's going to be a few chances each before this match.
Well, Stewart's had 2 final frame deciders already, and he's come through both. Will there be another one, or will he get over the line here? Let's find out.
I just detect there that Hazel wants another deciding frame. everyone in this packed arena here would like a deciding frame, but the gentleman that just broke off, he'd like to see the match end with this frame.
Big shot if he's playing for the black here.
Oh, where's this red? Is it going to come up over the corner pocket? It is. It is. It's on. Well, he almost overcut that. But it's an early chance. Have a look at this. Just going off the jaw there. Well, this is a slip up, isn't it? What a chance he had there, Stephen.
6.
He'll be so disappointed with that. Huge margin of error to get past the pack. Big shot.
7.
He'll settle for that. Pink to the far corner. He's opened more reds up. Did you see the winning leg right there, Dennis?
Yeah, he took a very attacking red on, and he wasn't guaranteed position, but he did give himself a chance of the long pink, and there was quite a bit of pressure on that one. There's what, 4 reds possible there. He's got an angle, but they're not a good bunch to go into unless he just stuns into the side of the pack here.
He's finished low in the black more times in this match than I remember seeing Ronnie in a long time. Just hasn't been his A game to date. It doesn't matter what's happened so far. If he can win this frame, he'll still be favourite to go through to the final.
9.
Yeah, Ronnie is one of the players. He doesn't like to go straight into the pack early on. He likes to pick them off sometimes.
$14. 15.
What's he got available? There's a couple of reds still available to Ronnie. And then he will need a cannon.
20.
I think I must have put a curse on him earlier on Dennis saying the best cue ball control. Because I've never seen him get out of position so much in a match. Just by the odd inch here and there, but it makes all the difference.
21.
Yeah, it's all about trying to keep close control and not have much distance between your next pot. So he's picked off all the loose ones. The blue would be much better to go into this
28.
Bunch of reds.
29.
And every chance. If he does open the bunch and pots the blue, he could take the frame. Oh, it's stuck on them. It's sort of stuck on the reds there.
34.
Let's have a look. He just couldn't wiggle its way out of the bunch there. This is awkward.
Well, missed one of these blues earlier on in the match. Almost identical to this. There's some pressure on this shot.
Sure.
having the cue ball cleaned, maybe just to compose himself. Stewart sits and waits, and he knows that if this blue goes in, Ronnie will be in a great position in this frame.
$40. 41.
Well, not right in the centre of the pocket there, but he's okay. He's 41 ahead.
48.
May have to head up for the blue. Don't know if he can hold for the black or not. Had to go for the blue, but played
49.
nicely. And doesn't have to cannon into them. The one to the right is available.
$54.
And there's now one to
55.
the left, a pocket that's available. After he removed that last red.
$60.
Just this red needed.
61.
How many times in the past, Stephen, have we seen Ronnie do this? Put under extreme pressure. Seems to
66.
sometimes bring the best out of him.
67.
You don't get to be the best player in the
74.
world without being able to play a bit under pressure. And that's what he's done in this frame.
75. $82.
He's
83.
made 768 centuries in his illustrious career. Getting closer to your record, Stephen. I think he's about 7 behind you at the moment. He's had 4 so far this year
90.
in the UK Championship.
92.
We've had 87 centuries this year at the Barbican.
95.
But I'll tell you what, is this a timely one here?
99.
That's a magnificent effort from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
104.
Not only the century, but brought
110.
the pink into play as well. Absolutely fantastic from Ronnie O'Sullivan. And he wins the frame with a magnificent century break. Hazel wanted the final frame shootout. She's got it.
Oh, we all love a final frame decider, Dennis, don't we? A fantastic effort from Ronnie O'Sullivan to get back on even terms. And as you rightly say, only 6 centuries behind the record of 775 set by Stephen Hendry. He's chasing you, Stephen. And we've got Steve and we've got Ken here in the studio. And you have to admire this man's pure competitive instinct when the chips are down.
Yeah, apart from being the most naturally gifted player that's ever graced the game, he's got one of the greatest sort of steals and bottle in the game as well, and he's courageous, you know, and he took on some great pots there, and he's, you know, he really is a great fighter as well, and that's the whole package, you know, and that's why he's so difficult to beat.
He seems to respond really to that high wire walk situation, and I know it's something that you've both been great at in your careers. Can you describe what happens at that point when you know that you're really facing the greatest of pressure? What happens to you in that moment, Steve?
I think some of the greatest pressure players in any sport seem to focus in better when required, and everything around them becomes secondary. Other people, when they're under a bit of pressure, start to get sort of, you know, aware of that there's a cameraman or something like that. But I think that focusing in is something you can't really teach. But perhaps you could. Perhaps there is a reason why, and that's perhaps why he's with Steve Peters. But from Ronnie O'Sullivan's perspective, sometimes we feel like he needs a challenge before he's focused. And boy, he's had one today, because Stuart Bingham played his part in this match as well. Fantastic performance by Stuart. You see that wry smile on his face. He knew that, you know, that Ronnie wasn't going to lay down completely, and he knew he was going to have to probably pull something special out of the bag in this frame to win it.
Well, it's down to one, a best of one, for a place in the United Kingdom Championship final.
Thank you. The deciding frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
And Ronnie gets the deciding frame underway. Pretty good length with the cue ball.
Cameras and the phones away now, please.
As we say, Stephen, in any deciding frame, you're just looking for one chance, and straight away Stuart might have a go at this long red, because he could get himself onto the black. Oh, that was close.
I couldn't have struck this much better. Now, how confidently will Ronnie play this red to the right centre? Will he play the cue ball in and out of bulk? Or will he just put the cue ball a bit more to safety? There's the answer. Very positive for colour. Stuart Bingham played his last shot in this semi-final already.
An early prediction from Stephen Hendry there, but he's been in this situation on many times. As Stuart looks on, and all great champions seem to be able to close matches out in style, and that's exactly what Stephen Hendry's thinking. Okay, he's not playing on the main tour now, but he still thinks the way he always did.
Four.
Beautifully played. The stun run through. One of the nicest shots in the game to watch, and he's perfect on the black.
$11.
We just got a little nudge on the blue, and it's the wrong side now.
I wonder if he'll risk going in between the green and brown with right hand side of two cushions and into the pack here. It's quite a big target. He's played for the open red. Really played it perfectly.
17.
He'll go into them this time. And this is a key shot early on in this deciding frame. And it slipped away up the table. And he's faced with a medium length pot.
25.
That can always happen when you're playing with that amount of screw inside. You can see the white arc its way around. That's a great recovery shot.
26.
He spotted something on the black this time, I think.
Yeah, this is a shot. Top spin, left-hand side into the pack as we watched this red. He had a natural angle to drop on the black, so just had to concentrate in the pot, but top spin into the bunch here. He's okay.
Oh, it might just be a little
33.
awkward. Because that pot, he's going to cannon into the two reds. He's just got to be a wee bit careful here. It's a bit of a stretch over the pink. No, that was always going to be difficult. He didn't
34.
quite get on the red as he would have liked, and that was always going to be tough. It's hard to judge exactly where the cue ball is going to finish when you're going through a bunch like that. But he's got an early advantage. Oh.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 34.
I think everyone in the Barbican thought he'd gone in off there.
So Stuart Bingham still in this match. I'm sure he feared the worst at the start of that break.
Well, Ronnie's had his chance in this deciding frame. Will Stuart get one? Because the first opening pot, you couldn't really call that a chance.
Safety shot. To judge the contact, when the reds are so close to the cushion, it's so easy to hit them thick. And this is tough to get the thin contact hitting across the red.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, you called it, Stephen, and you'd rather miss it altogether than hit it thick, but Ronnie's looking at the possible pot here. Wow, he's not guaranteed to get onto a colour, but he feels that maybe he can. Well, this is a big shot, isn't it? What a shot he's taken on here. And he's got the kiss on the black. It says fortune favours the brave. He was brave there, and he got a lovely little nudge on the black. He deserved it, because that was a tough shot he took on. He could quite easily have put Stuart back in, and how many players would have taken that on? I can't think of too many.
8.
He'll take great pleasure from
9.
this win today. It's been nowhere near his best. 4-1 down. Perhaps let off in the next frame by Stuart. But he's just battled away. You'll be thinking about that 6th frame tonight when he looks back on this match.
17.
Yeah, it's going to be a deciding frame that he never really got a chance. But he's kept his cool, Ronnie, even at 4-1 down.
35.
From 4-1 down, he made breaks of 62, 68, 67. He made 117 in the last frame. And that is the pot that should get Ronnie O'Sullivan
32
into the final of this year's UK Championship. The crowd here at the Barbican have been very fair. They've applauded Stuart Bingham with all the great snooker he played earlier on in this match. Been 7 years since Ronnie won the UK Championship. He's won it 4 times.
38.
And he's going to give himself a chance in tomorrow's final to make it 5 UK titles. It's a great feeling, even for someone like Ronnie
45.
O'Sullivan, although he's done it so many times. When you're walking around the table,
46.
you've clinched the match. You don't half feel good. I've enjoyed this
53.
match enormously.
54.
And there's the safety success rate, 86%. He's right up there, but
61.
can't finish with a century, but he's definitely closing the semi-final out in style.
67. 69.
Not giving the referee much time to spot the balls, but
72. 76.
Stuart did remarkably well after losing 3 frames to get himself 5-4 in front.
81.
But it wasn't quite enough against this genius.
87.
The crowd are enjoying this end to the semi-final. Well, he was 5-4 down. He made breaks of 117, and then he cleared up with that 94. And that's nice to see the 2 players having a chat about it. But in the end, it's the people's champion that goes through to the final, and he defeats Stuart Bingham in a deciding frame, 6 frames to 5. Well done to both players.
Well played, Ronnie O'Sullivan. What a comeback, and that's got to go down as a peach of a comeback for him. He's making his way towards the studio. I have Ken and Steve with me. How would you sum up the way he got back into that match and eventually won it, Steve?
Just great character. I think it's not even in question. The greatest player that's ever held a cue in the game ever, full stop. And nobody can take away the fact he's turned that game around against a great player as well in Stuart Bingham.
What will he take out of it, Ronnie, from that performance today in your view?
I was just saying, I think he'll probably get more out of that victory than probably he would have out of the 147. The 147 was fantastic, but the manner in which he came back there, and particularly the shot to pull off to get in and win that frame and that visit was just magnificent. And it just shows you, as we talked about, bottled character, as well as being the naturally gifted player that we all know he is. He's got tremendous bottle even under the gun, you know.
We're saying nice things about you, and well played. I tell you what, that was a hell of a struggle. And, you know, 1-4 down, Ronnie. He's just made a 1-3-7. He's gliding round the table. How on earth did you get back into that one?
You know, I just want to say, if that was a boxing match, they would have definitely stopped it. It was one of them, you know, I was getting a good idea in every department in the first 2 or 3 frames. It wasn't like he made like 3 or 4 centuries. It was like 50, 60, welding me to the back rail, potting difficult balls, and I just couldn't. I just thought, you know what, I'm way off the pace here, and And I just kept thinking, you know, he plays so many tournaments, and it's no coincidence that Stuart's doing really well, and Steve Maguire and Judd Trump and all the guys that are playing regular and doing well in these PTC events, they do kind of bring that form to these tournaments. I'm sitting there beating myself up thinking I need to play more. I know I need to play more. I know I'm a bit off the pace. I'm not where I was like 2012 and 2013. I was just, you know, I was just one visiting so many times, and whereas here I just feel a little bit bits and pieces, and you know, it's just inspiration that's got me through. But you know, I was just pleased to get through.
We were just talking about it, the character that you showed. What do you take out of that? I know that you're saying that you weren't at your peak performance right early on, but you know, when you look back on it, to get over the line in the way you did, what do you take out of that match, Ronnie?
I just take that, you know, I was a bit lucky really, because Stuart still had a few chances at 4-1, 4-2, you know, and he wasn't playing as well then as he was, you know, from the off, you know, so he allowed me back into it, and then I kind of found a bit of momentum and a bit of rhythm. So, you know, I've got away with probably 3 matches this week. Ben Woollaston had me, the last guy, McGill had me, yeah. You know, and Stuart had me, but, you know, I've used that all my lives.
It was a fantastic start to the frame, and then all of a sudden, after Stuart Bingham had missed the red and you fouled on a miss, they were discussing whether you should be put him back, and you decided to really go for the throat with that red. It was a fantastic red, you potted it, yellow was over the pocket as a saver.
Yeah.
Talk us through that.
Well, I just kind of like, a couple of times this week, I took the miss and put them back in, and they put me in trouble, and I just thought, you know what, this is your one chance. You know, you've got to go for it, you know, and that's all I've done. I just put my eggs in one basket, really, and just thought, you know, this is your chance.
Now, you've got one little bit missing from the CV, and I know you've talked about it, a 7-year itch, OK, since you won this one. 5 world titles, 5 Masters, 4 UKs. Is it a nice record that you'd like to even up here, Ronnie?
Oh, no, I mean, listen, just any tournament you win's great, you know, but... you know, I'd take any tournament these days, to be honest with you. The Welsh, China, they're all the same to me. You know, a win's a win. Even the PTC events, I get massive pleasure out of playing in them. I think we just love playing the game, really. You know, but obviously this has got the prestige, and if you know, the historians will sit down and the purists will go, you know, it's all about the UKs and the worlds, and you know, I suppose it is to a certain extent, but. You know, we just like playing. You know, I get just as much buzz playing out of the PTC than I do this. Really.
As you sit here now, is your intention then, as you're saying, do you reckon you're going to play in more events next year? Well,
I'm going to any tournament I can drive to. I'm just going to go. So I'll probably go and play in even the one framer in Blackpool, because I like competing. You know.
What about a slow boat?
Take too long, mate. Unless they've got a gym on there and a running track, then I might be able to do it. But yeah, any time I can drive to, I'll go. And obviously, you know, we've got Condon Park coming up, so that's 20 minutes away, so I'm going to try and play as much in that as I can.
We were just talking actually about this time last week. We weren't sure if you're going to turn up for your second round match, Ronnie, with this broken ankle. I just wonder, how much is it affecting you now? Are you in pain at all? Is it affecting shot selection at all these days?
No, ever since my third round match against Ben Woollaston, it's been all right, you know, and it's just got better and better each day, so I feel really good on it now. OK,
finally, who do you imagine you might be playing in the final tomorrow?
Do you know what? I think the form would probably say Trump, because he's obviously consistently playing well, but you know, you can't count Maguire out. He's such a good match player, and you know, I'm sure he'll want to kind of get one over on Judd, because I think Judd's beat him the last few times, so it's going to be a good match. But I'd slightly favour Judd, I suppose, just because he's probably playing a bit more fluent, maybe.
Okay. Well, we wish you very well tomorrow. Well played today. It's a heck of an afternoon. Thank you very much, Ronnie. And we're about to find out this evening who will win that other semi-final between Steve Maguire and Judd Trump. And as Ronnie says, Judd, the Juddernaut, will take some stopping.
Technical. Why has Judd Trump got such astonishing cue power? Quite simply, incredible acceleration of the cue. His reflexes are amazing. It's a Ferrari cue action rather than a Rolls-Royce one.
His stance is a solid foundation, but his setup appears intrusive upon the cue, as if his whole body has wrapped around it somehow. However, appearances can be deceiving, and Judd's cue power shows complete freedom of movement for the cue.
His head is incredibly still. Not so surprising on the more gentle shots, but very impressive on the power shots.
Tactical.
You couldn't describe Judd as a touch player. He seems to like the sound of the ball hitting the back of the pocket. He's aggressive amongst the balls, sometimes perhaps a little bit too aggressive.
We've seen him take on shots that have defied logic. Sometimes it comes off, but often it doesn't. Perhaps as he gets older, he will strike a better balance. But that addiction to naughty snooker is why he's a crowd favourite.
Psychological. Judd seems utterly without fear when it comes to playing the other big names. He never enters an arena thinking he's the underdog. He's a natural competitor.
Season on season, he's been a consistent performer, reaching a ranking final every year since 2010.
He has won 4 finals but lost 3, and in the 2014 World Championship quarter-final, he dropped 5 frames in a row to Neil Robertson to lose that match. But I don't think that's big match nerves, just a result of the high-risk, high-reward brand of snooker he plays.
Well, I know it's a big night of singing and dancing and celebrity this evening, but we will be on BBC 2 as well from 7 o'clock for that second semi-final. No voting required to see who will join Ronnie in the United Kingdom Championship final. It's been a great afternoon from us all here in York. Bye for now.
Football next on BBC One all this afternoon.